This is the Uptick Newswire Stock Day podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube to stay up to date on penny stock news and interviews, public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world, with your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, you've been asking about it. We finally got him on the show, but he's been on the show back in November 27th of 2017. We're talking no other than Auscrete Corp. They trade on the OTC markets, ASCK, unless you've been living under a rock. And I know a lot of you people that follow me listen to what I say about the companies and stuff like that. This has been one of the most active stocks out there on the OTC markets. And with us today to clear up some stuff and give us an update of where the company is going and talking about the new land purchase is the president and CEO of the company, John Sprovieri. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Everett. As always, I appreciate being on your show with you, and we look forward to continuing as we go into the future to update people.
Before we get into the Q&A, I just want to clear a couple things up, and I just wanted to get a yay or nay from you. I got you at outstanding shares about 1.1 billion, and your float is about 930 million. Is that pretty accurate?
That's pretty accurate as of a couple of days ago, yes.
I want to talk to you. The reason why I asked you to come on the show, you guys have had a ton of business going on. You finally bought the land that you've been talking about for the last 6 months. Bring us up to date on the balance sheet, and where do we go from here? What's the next step?
Okay, well, a lot of people out there are unaware that we actually bought a property on the Goldendale Industrial Complex. We keep on getting emails from people saying, when are you going to buy the land? even though we've put out press releases
right.
saying that we've done that. So just to clear that up, recently I arrived at the title company office there in Goldendale with a cashier's check for the full value of the property, and I settled it. So the title is currently being registered. So we definitely bought the land and paid for it. So we're going to be moving forward from this point, and as usual, engineering, both civil and mechanical engineering, has a lot to do with everything that goes on from this point on. Last year we had our sights set on another property, but that didn't pan out because the vendor wanted 3 times the agreement. We had done a lot of engineering and site plans, and only to have that set aside. So we're pretty pleased that we're now embarking on a new campus location, and we've had to start from the beginning again, which has been a bit of a problem, but we're at that point.
I was going to say, if you could explain to my listeners what happens once the production facility is ready and you're at the beginning of actually production staging for Auscrete.
Going forward, during this construction phase, we're also building specialized equipment. We need to have specialized equipment that's been developed by our company to be able to work with this technology. There's a lot of in-house developed equipment that we've currently got under design, and a lot of it has to. We've used this same thing before, but we only had a small pilot plant in the beginning, and a lot of the equipment is just too small for the type of projected output that we have. So we're remanufacturing so that we can get this equipment to the scale that we need for the projected output. Okay, in addition to that, we'll be manufacturing 16 high-speed hydraulic casting beds with quick assembly snap-together molding boards, and that can set up as a real efficient and timely way to get this project up and going. We build houses to customers' needs.
Yes.
And most designs will be different, meaning the shape of the exterior and interior panels will often be different. So we may not have the same panel over and over again. We don't build cookie-cutter homes. So we need to be able to vary our molding tables to suit. And of course, we have 20 roof panel casting tables because our roofs are also concrete. So you talk about going forward from this point. We're going to position ourselves to meet the projected output for the production building. And I guess the bottom line to that is each casting bed can produce 3 panels a week. Now, the number of panels that are required to build a house, say a typical 1,600 to 2,000 square foot home, is about 23 panels. It's not a lot. So we can cast enough panels in a 6-day period. 3 times 16 tables equals 48 panels. So we have enough panels in 1 week to build 2 houses. And the same is true for the roof panels.
So you can build 2 houses in 1 day, production wise.
In 1 week.
In 1 week. Yeah.
Yeah. We can produce enough panels, and it's not a lot. We can produce enough panels to build 2 houses. So we're comfortable producing the basic building blocks for 2 houses a week. And if we do this for 50 weeks a year, then we've produced 100 houses with an average size around 1,600 square foot. So just to finish that off, to put that in monetary terms, we're talking around $100 a square foot for a completed home. 1,600 homes would give our company revenues of around $16 million a year.
Yeah, that's a far...
I've got to say, that's very sad. Yeah, that's pretty satisfying for a company that's only spending $1.5 million on equipment and buildings to get to that revenue level.
And to mention, your market cap's only $375,000. I totally agree. My guest today is John Sprovieri. He's the CEO and president of Auscrete Corp. I believe they're getting ready to turn the corner here, and great things are going to happen for the company. They trade on the OTC markets, ASCK. With all this in the pipeline, John, long term for the shareholders, what does that mean for them?
Well, as you mentioned when we first opened up here, our number of issued and outstanding at the moment is only 1.1 billion. I say only. If you look at many other companies on the OTC, we have a small number of shares out there, and the float's only 930 million. So that may have increased slightly since that was a couple of days ago, but it's fairly unlikely to be very much more. There's a couple of notes still out there, at the very tail end of them, not much money from 2016, so they're almost entirely completed, and we can't, with those notes, we can't keep revisiting the past here. It's a trading stage in our future, so let's not keep looking for negativity. We've had an enormous volume of trades on our stock, particularly since we started this Golden Dale initiative. However, less than 10% of the can be attributed to conversion. So most of it is people that see the volatility of our stock, and they're going out there doing day trading on stock that's been in the float for ages.
Right.
Yeah. So we've always said that they need to think longer term, be longer term investors if they're looking at our business. You know, Everett, in the business world, as it is in real life, it's hard for anyone to focus forward if too much thought goes into the past.
I agree.
So ASCK likes to be a forward-looking company.
Well, John, you said a lot today. You said it all. I think you brought us up to speed. You definitely brought us up to date. In closing, is there anything that we didn't get a chance to touch upon that you would like to illustrate out there to the listeners?
Well, as I usually say at the end of these interviews, our company has got a much better upside than it has a downside at this very moment. I think if I could be out there and be an investor in our company, I would certainly like to have a good number of shares on hand and be ready for something to happen in the next, say, 6 to 12 months, because I believe.
I would like personally to give a disclosure. I bought 7 million shares of your company in the open market. I haven't been given any shares from you to me. I bought every one of those shares in the open market, and I'm a big believer in the company, and I'm just going to hold on until I see things going where I think they should be going to. And John, I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. I wish you nothing but continued success. Hopefully you'll come back on in 30 or 40 days and give us an update.
Yes, I'd love to do that. And thank you very much for having us.
This program is entirely sponsored and produced by Uptick Newswire LLC, which is responsible for the content. The opinions and information provided on this program are those of the guests and those of the respective companies they represent, and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Uptick Newswire. Uptick Newswire encourages all listeners of this program to do their due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that will work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional. The guests of this program may have paid for its distribution and are not directly affiliated with Uptick Newswire or this station.